Hi, Gabe here. Thanks for your interest in SAS. In this tutorial, we'll take care of writing data to the SAS database. Before we get into writing data to the database, let's create the right environment for it. Create a new scene, go to the SAS folder, and drag in the SAS prefab and login prefab. In the SAS prefab, enable the Remember Oath checkbox of the Oath section. Let's now go into the login game object and write lobby as the scene to load on login. Then save the scene as login. We are now going to create a new scene, drag the SAS prefab here as well, enable the Remember Oath checkbox and save the scene as lobby. Finally, let's add the scenes to the build settings so that we can load them at runtime. Once this is done, we can move to the next step, writing data. Data needs to be serialized before being sent. This means that we need to create the boxes that will contain it, and the shape that each piece of data will have. My favorite way of doing this is by creating a separate script called models, and then create the serializable classes in there. Let's do that for now. In the script, let's delete everything and create a class. We will call this class Player Model. Specify that it's serializable by adding the system.serializable tag. And then let's add a few properties, such as the owner, the name, the color, and the local logout position. We'll get back to that later on. Back to Unity, we can now create a new script. Let's call it database script this time. In there, we are going to first, of course, get a reference to the server again, and then later on, after we've done that, we'll add a member variable of the player model type. Finally, in the update method, we will add a key press to save our data using the following line of code: database.setRecord, and then the route, which is going to be the players, and then the m_player, which is the model that we just created. Then, finally, we're gonna have our callback be auto-generated. We can auto-generate the callback by right-clicking on the error and selected Quick Refactoring, then Generate Method. In there, we can log the response if we want to, just for testing purposes, of course. Finally, we can go back to the editor, create a new empty game object, and configure it so that we have some data to write in our player model. If we now load the loading room and press play, we can log in using the credentials set in the last tutorial, or if we want we can register a new account. Then, once we're in, we're gonna be transferred to the lobby, where we can press W to write down our first entry in the database. You can confirm that this happens by checking the GameDB.json file. And that's all well and good, but what happens is, for example, we decide to change our players in the expectation that we're gonna submit a new record to the database. Let's have a look. Let's change the name of the player and the color, press W again to write to the database. As you can see, we've overwritten our changes. In order to push new data, we're gonna have to make a little change. Copy what you have and paste it into a new line, and change SetRecord to pushRecord, and let's change the key code to P. Now, if we try again, we'll log in, change the data, and press P, then change the data again, and press P again. Guess what's gonna happen now? Back into the database, we're gonna have 2 new records. Keep in mind that pushing an array where there was only an object is gonna erase that object, and the other way around. That's it, you're done! In the next tutorial we will see how to retrieve data from the database. Bye bye!